A single sentence can turn a lock you never knew existed. For 24-year-old waitress Eliza Holay, drowning in her mother's medical bills, that sentence was a simple observation. For Gideon Pierce, insulated by billions, it became a crack in the foundation of his world. She was just finishing her shift. He was just another faceless tycoon. But when Eliza saw the ring on his finger, a flicker of memory ignited a fire that could destroy a century-old dynasty. This is the story of a casual remark in a cheap diner that unraveled lies, betrayal, and a secret one of America's most powerful families thought was buried forever. The fluorescent lights hummed above the corner booth diner, a monotonous lull Eliza knew better than her own heartbeat. She rubbed her sore shoulders, muscles aching, not just from work but from watching her mother, Laura, slowly fade in a sterile hospital room. At 9 p.m., the diner rested in its nightly lull. The bell above the door chimed. A man stepped in. Silence fell. He wasn't just well-dressed, he was sculpted from another world. Charcoal gray suit, shoes polished even under grimy lights, a quiet confidence that demanded no introduction. Remaining patrons lowered their voices. He slid into a corner booth with precise, effortless motion. Eliza approached with a menu and water, her smile practiced. "Welcome to the corner booth. Can I get you started?" "Just coffee, black." His voice, deep and resonant, cut through the diner like a cello in a room of tin whistles. "Coming right up," she murmured, retreating. Chloe, her friend, leaned in. "Look at Mr. Moneybags, thinks he's too good for a menu." "Gideon Pierce, $10 says." Eliza frowned. "Who?" "Pierce Holdings. They own half the skyline. My dad worked one of their sites before he was laid off. He's ruthless, turned family millions into billions before 30. Eliza glanced at him. Sharp profile, cold blue eyes, predator-like stillness. But to her, he was just another customer wanting coffee. She set it down. As he reached for the cup, his cuffed hand revealed a ring that stole her breath. A pale gold signet, a phoenix with wings spread, a sapphire eye sparkling like a captured star. Intertwined feathers carved the band. Her mind reeled. She had seen this ring before, not in a diner, but resting in a velvet box on her mother's bedside table. Laura had refused to sell it no matter the bills. Her father had given it to her on his deathbed. "It's a promise," Eliza whispered in memory. Words escaped before she could stop them. "Hi, sir. My mother has a ring just like yours." Gideon froze, hand hovering over the cup. His casual gaze sharpened into icy intensity. "Excuse me?" "The ring. It's identical. The phoenix, the sapphire, everything." A flicker of something unreadable crossed his face. Slowly, he examined it. "Impossible," he said, voice flat. "It has been in the Pierce family for over 100 years. Custom made for my great-grandfather. There is no other." "You are mistaken." Eliza's exhaustion flared into defiance. "I'm not mistaken. I've held it 1,000 times. I know every detail." A faint, condescending smile touched his lips. "Fascinating story. Your mother is either a liar or a thief. The only way she has a ring like this is if it was stolen from my family 50 years ago." The word stolen hit like a poison dart. She couldn't believe it. Laura, her mother, the gentlest woman she knew, a thief? Gideon placed 3 crisp $100 bills on the table. "Your coffee and your time," he said, already moving toward the door. "She's not a thief." Eliza called. "Then prove it." He was gone, leaving her heart pounding, the diner lights screaming. The money felt like blood on the table. Driving to the hospital, Gideon's words echoed. Liar or thief? Preposterous. Laura was honest to a fault. At her bedside, the velvet box awaited. Trembling, Eliza opened it. The ring glinted, a phoenix, sapphire eye, identical in every detail. "Eliza, honey, is that you?" Laura's weak voice broke through. "Hey, Mom." Eliza forced a smile, hiding the confrontation. "Your late shift." "The usual," Laura rasped, eyes still sharp with fierce love. Her gaze fell on the box. "You were looking at the ring?" Eliza hesitated. I was just thinking about Dad," Laura corrected gently. "Your grandfather gave it to me. Not your father. Keep it safe, it might be the only proof we have someday." "What kind of proof?" Eliza pressed. Laura's eyes darkened. "Leave it be, Eliza. Some doors are best left closed. But what if someone else has a reason to open it?" Her mother's grip tightened. The heart monitor spiked. "Nothing. Just a stupid thing at work," Eliza whispered, masking the storm inside. Not now. She needed to protect her mother. But the seed of doubt had been planted, a promise broken by powerful men. Who were they? And what did it have to do with Gideon Pierce? Miles above the city, in a penthouse that seemed to float over the lights below, Gideon Pierce stood before a floor-to-ceiling window, scotch in hand, untouched. He couldn't shake the encounter at the diner. The girl, Eliza Holay, her honest eyes, her certainty. "My mother has a ring just like yours." It was absurd, and yet it gnawed at him. He moved to his mahogany desk, flicked on a green-shaded lamp, and retrieved a locked folio, the Pierce family archives. A curated history, sanitized, but all he had. Opening to the section on heirlooms, there was a yellowed photograph of the Phoenix signet ring. His ring. Commissioned in 1922 by Eliza Pierce, forged in Paris, it symbolized the family's rebirth after the 1921 financial panic. Passed down to the male heir, his father had given it to him on his 21st birthday. "We always rise. Never forget that." His phone buzzed. Genevieve Adler, his lawyer and fixer. "Something has come up," he said tightly. "I need a discreet background check." "A person?" Genevieve asked. "Yes. Eliza Holay. Works at a diner called the Corner Booth. Mother's name, Laura Holay. I want everything. Financials, family, history, every connection to my family." Gideon's gaze fell on the ring. "It has the potential to become problematic," he admitted, rare uncertainty creeping in. He remembered his grandfather's hushed stories. Alaric's younger brother Daniel disowned for betrayal, supposedly taking a spare signet ring lost to the family. Official history never mentioned Daniel or a second ring. A ghost story. Until now. "Find out who Laura Holay's father was," he commanded. His name, his work, and if he ever crossed paths with the Pierce family. Condensed. The scene describing Gideon's internal struggle and the legend of Daniel. Pierce was tightened to maintain pacing while preserving suspense. 3 days later, Genevieve sent a single encrypted text. Owen Callaway. The name meant nothing. Gideon scoured Pierce Holdings' private databases, employee records, contractors, financial dealings back a century. Nothing. Too clean. Suspicion gnawed at him. Genevieve appeared in his office, holding a thin file. "You won't like this. Inside, public records and a birth certificate for Laura Ann Callaway, born in Wilmington, Delaware. Father Owen Callaway. A patent application from 1968. A novel gearing system for high-torque industrial turbines. Withdrawn. Gideon's blood ran cold. The schematic was unmistakably the precursor to the Pierce Mark III turbine, the invention that had made his grandfather's company a global powerhouse. Credited solely to William Pierce. The bank records, Genevieve said flatly, show a $50,000 deposit into Callaway's account shortly after. He quit his job, moved his family, and never worked in engineering again. Died 6 years later. The pieces clicked. A non-disclosure, a payoff, a brilliant idea bought and buried. Gideon tasted the words. My grandfather stole his invention and paid him to keep quiet. "And the ring?" Gideon asked. Genevieve slid him a translation from Dubois' Ace of Paris. 2 identical Phoenix signet rings were commissioned in 1922. The artisan's note read, "One for the builder, one for the dreamer. May they fly together, 2 rings." Daniel Pierce had existed. So Callaway didn't steal the ring, Gideon murmured. Daniel Pierce must have given it to him. But why? A thank you, a token. Something more? The puzzle was no longer about a diner waitress. It was about the bedrock of his family's legacy, built on resilience and a lie. The knowledge burned in his gut. He had to speak to her again, condensed. Technical details about patent records and banking were streamlined to highlight the betrayal and stakes while maintaining clarity. Eliza was wiping down the counter after another grueling shift when the bell chimed. Her heart sank. He wasn't entering the diner this time. He stood framed in the doorway, city lights like a dark halo. Dressed casually in dark trousers and a cashmere sweater, he still radiated unapproachable power. "Miss Holay," he said quietly but firmly, "I need to speak with you." Chloe's worried eyes met hers. "You don't have to." Eliza shook her head. "It's okay. I'll be right back." She hung her apron and stepped out into the cool night air. The city's noise was a distant roar as Gideon Pierce confronted Eliza Holay. "Your mother's father?" he asked sharply. Her eyes widened. "Owen Callaway," he said, matter of fact. An engineer. In 1968, he filed a patent for a turbine gear system. Eliza's mind went blank. Her mother had never spoken of her father's work, only his quiet sadness. "I don't know anything about that," she admitted. "You think you don't, but your mother does." "My grandfather, William Pierce, launched a turbine based on the same design years later. Made my family a fortune. Callaway withdrew his patent, took a payment. This isn't about a ring anymore, is it? This is about leverage for your mother's medical bills." Tears sprang to Eliza's eyes. Rage and grief coursed through her. "How dare you?" she whispered. "You stand there judging us. My mother is fighting for her life. This isn't money. It's honor. Honor stolen from a man your family destroyed." For the first time, Gideon felt hesitation. He had seen a schemer. Now he saw a daughter defending her family. "My grandfather told my mother that ring was proof," Eliza continued, her voice rising. "Proof he was wronged. That he didn't take a payoff, he was threatened. Forced to sign away his life's work to protect us from men like your grandfather. That money wasn't a payment. It was hush money." The city noise filled the silence between them as Gideon's certainty began to crumble. "2 rings," he said finally. "One for my great-grandfather, one for his brother Daniel." "Was your grandfather friends with a man named Daniel Pierce?" Eliza shook her head. "Never heard that name." 2 rings, 2 families intersecting histories. One story of clean business, another of theft and intimidation. And at the center, a ghost. "My mother has the ring," Eliza said, resolute. "You have your story, I have mine. I'll find the truth." Gideon nodded, respect replacing condescension. "So will I." Back at the hospital, Eliza confronted her mother. "Mom, we need the full story. No more secrets." Laura's eyes, heavy with sorrow, met her daughter's. "I knew this day would come. Your grandfather. He was brilliant, gentle, trusting. And he was destroyed by my father's invention, stolen, silenced by men like William Pierce." "They came to our home," Laura whispered. "Not to hurt him physically. They showed him photos of our family, threatened us, laid out contracts and cash, non-disclosure, assigning his invention. He signed. He was a broken man from that day on." Eliza pressed gently. "But the ring, where does it fit in? Who is Daniel Pierce?" Laura flinched at the name. "He never said Pierce, he called him my friend. After Owen was cast out, Daniel sought him. A drifter, an outcast, an artist. They became friends. Daniel gave him the ring, a symbol of hope, integrity, a promise that the phoenix would rise for the right person." Condensed Gideon, uncovering family documents and surveillance evidence. Meanwhile, Gideon sifted through old letters in the Pierce estate, discovering the cold truth. Surveillance reports detailed the Callaway family being watched, a memo. Callaway neutralized. Assets secured. His family's fortune was built on theft and fear. Then he found a cryptic note from his grandfather. "He knows. Found him. Daniel is the key. Must protect the name." Daniel, thought long gone, was alive in the shadows of history, a threat to the Pierce legacy. Gideon sought out Eliza at the hospital cafeteria. "Your mother was right," he said quietly. "My grandfather terrorized your family, and this," he pushed a file forward, "proof of surveillance." Eliza's hands trembled as she read. "Why show me this?" "Because the truth is bigger than our stories," Gideon said. "Daniel is the key. Someone who knew him threatened my grandfather. And the rings, they're the origin point. The ledger from Paris shows 2 rings. One for the builder, one for the guardian." Eliza leaned closer, spotting the French phrase mistranslated. Guardian, not dreamer. Guardian of the soul. They realized Alaric Pierce and Daniel weren't rivals, but 2 halves of a whole. The tale of betrayal was fabricated. A 1945 annotation revealed Daniel had abandoned the Pierce name, inscribing Owen on the ring. The same Owen Callaway, Eliza's grandfather. The ring was not a gift of solidarity, but evidence, a dormant claim to the empire. At the Pierce Foundation gala, Gideon and Eliza confronted Robert Pierce. Laura, in a wheelchair, addressed the room. William Pierce destroyed my father because he was honorable. He was forced to keep your secret. I will not. Eliza displayed the Parisian ledger entry on massive screens. Robert, cornered, lashed out. You fool, you've ruined everything. The confession, amplified for all, confirmed a century of corruption. Weeks later, in a sunlit hospital suite, Laura's eyes gleamed with relief. Gideon placed a leather-bound document on her bed. The Daniel Owen Pierce Foundation. It will fund independent inventors and artists my family tried to crush. Owen Callaway is the first honorary beneficiary. He placed his phoenix ring beside Eliza's. The two rings, twin flames of gold, reunited. One for the builder, one for the guardian. Help me bring back the soul of the company. Eliza nodded, heart full. Let's give them a legacy to believe in. A single sentence in a diner had set a chain of events in motion, rewriting history. Letters in the Dark reminds us, truth, courage, and integrity can revive what greed tried to bury.